Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. This is Johnny Hall, and today I'm bringing you another card making tutorial. Today I'm working on a challenge card. The challenge is to case a designer, and casing in the card making world stands for copy and share everything, CASE. So whenever a challenge asks you to case some card or case a designer, then they basically want you to copy and give your interpretation of what it is they're presenting to you. What I need to case is a design stamp set called Sitting Here from Stampin' Up. And this is going to be my interpretation for casing the designer. So I'm working with the stamp set called Sitting Here, and it has an image of a porch swing. So what I chose to do that was an original idea for this porch swing is I'm stamping it on thick Whisper White cardstock with chocolate chip ink, and I will let this dry for just a few seconds, and then I'm going to use my scissors and I'll cut out the image of the swing. I'm using the Stampin' Scrub to clean my stamp, especially with photopolymer stamps, which are the clear see-through stamps. I have to make sure that I keep them nice and clean because ink will tend to stain them over time and use, which is normal. However, I just like to have my stamps looking nice, and that way, if you clean them immediately, then I don't have any more issues. So I'm fussy cutting this swing out, and what my design thought process is that I want to create a clean and simple card, and I want to have some texture on the card also. I don't want to put a lot of layers because I do like layering on a card, but for this card in particular, I don't want too much to let the eye go to. I want to keep it very, very simple and the simplicity of its design. So to get the bit of texture onto the card that I'm looking for, I'm using the layering square framelits from Stampin' Up. And they have different sized squares, and they in fact nest together. If you wanted to build a frame or do a hole inside of a hole or whatever have you, these framelits will allow that to happen very easily. I just chose the largest of the squares that has a scalloped edge. I put it through my Big Shot die cutting machine, and now I will use an embossing folder to emboss that piece of paper. I removed the thin die adapter from my standard cutting base plate, and when you do this, then it allows you to be able to put an embossing folder between the two clear plates that we use to make the sandwich, is what they call the sandwich. If you have a different base plate, this is one of the new ones. If you have an older one, which I do still have an older one that's like an extended plate, then it tells you on the plate which tabs that you are to flip up, and thus it reduces the bulk of your base plate to allow room for the embossing folder to go through. So make sure you follow the directions on your machine. I will apologize because a portion of this video was corrupted, so I did not get to show you where I cut out the swing and I attached the strings and I made the sentiment, but I'll let you know what I did. I used a piece of chocolate chip scrap cardstock to coordinate with the color of the swing that I used, the ink for the swing. And I used white embossing powder and the sentiment that says, "Just sitting here thinking of you." And I just stamped a bird using one of the Stampin' Right markers. And I used my markers to color in the image of the swing. And I used linen thread to, I poked a hole in two different parts of the swing and made the thread come through to look like it's hanging. And I attached that to the back of the piece of green the square so that it looks like the swing is resting on the green portion of the card. Right now I'm using sequins from Bright's sequins assortment, and I chose those because Old Olive is the color of the cardstock that I used, and Old Olive is the color of the sequin as well. Thank you guys for joining me on my YouTube channel and blog for another card making tutorial. I appreciate you coming by, and I would like you to like this video and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.